Hi, it's Princess Rosa. And well, I saw Encanto and I fell in love with it, and it seems the world did too. By the way, this video is gonna have Encanto spoilers, so if you haven't seen it, go watch it and then come back. I'm gonna be honest with you. This movie spoke to me in so many levels. I cried like 6 times while watching it, and I related so much to the characters and story. And even months after it came out, I still cry with Dos Oruguitas. And even though I'm not Colombian, I am Mexican by the way, I feel this movie managed to create a Latin American household with really realistic and on the spot family dynamics. And if just as a Latina, this movie meant a lot for me, I cannot imagine how much it meant for Colombians. I know that other Latin American countries tend to be ignored when creating movies, regarding our culture, and they just tend to focus on Mexico, and if you're lucky, you get Puerto Rico, but I feel everyone else gets ignored by Hollywood and stuff. So even though I am Mexican, we already have Coco, so it made me really happy that Disney decided to focus on a country that wasn't my own for once. So, if you follow me on Instagram, you may have realized that I've been doing a bunch of Encanto fan art, and I've made it pretty clear since the very beginning that Isabela became my favorite character. I think Isabela is a really compelling character, and I love her character arc, but there's one thing that bothers me. At the end of the movie, after she goes through her whole transition and solving her issues with Mirabel, she's still wearing the same dress by the end of the movie. And I understand, she does use the pigment of the flowers to change the colors of it, but it is still the same dress. And I don't know about you, but I like that when characters go through a self-discovery arc on a movie and, they change their personality by the end. I like them to have a full transformation in their whole appearance. And it is a huge pet peeve of mine when studios do not commit to the full transformation and they just change the color palette or just change a little aspect of it and not the whole thing. I don't know, it just really bothers me. So, for that reason, I decided to give her a brand new dress. The first thing that I did in order to create this dress was to check the Encanto art book, The Art of Encanto, and I took some inspiration from the character explorations done by Nessa and Lorelei Bobet. These are two of the visual developers of Encanto. They work for Disney, their work is amazing, and what they did with Isabela and Luisa, it's just incredible. I don't know how much I can show you guys because I don't want to break the copyright law by showing you the art book, so I'm just gonna show you the stuff that at this point in time both artists have on their Instagrams. And also I'm gonna leave those in the description, and in case I show the literal art pieces that I took inspiration from, I'm just gonna leave a pinned comment down below and the link to that will be in the description. After that, I did some research on traditional and folkloric Colombian dresses since I saw that some of Isabela's concept art was based on those, and I drafted some ideas and I dropped them on my Instagram to ask my followers which one they preferred. The first dress is the closest to the original one and honestly my least favorite one out of the three. I wanted something that conveyed the same shape, language and feeling that the original character has, but that it had a more relaxed tone to it. But even though I still consider this the warm-up concept, so I think it's fine. The second one is my favorite one. It is kinda an over-the-top version of a Colombian folkloric dress used for traditional dancing, more specifically bambuco. And I don't know, I saw the skirt covered in flowers and I was like, yep. I wanted a dress that felt comfortable and elegant at the same time. So I basically went for a skirt with lots of personality and energy and a top that felt elegant and relaxed. And finally, the third dress. This one is kind of a compromise between both dresses. I really tried to keep the same shape, language, and yeah, I don't have anything else to say about it. It's just the compromise dress. At the end, I went with the second option, which was also the most popular option on Instagram, and that's the one that I'm gonna be working with. So let's get to it. I already told you that I based this dress on traditional dancing dresses, more specifically the skirt, but here I want to talk about Isabela as a character and how that ties into a few of the choices that I made with this dress. I love Isabela so much. From the moment that I saw her, I love her design and I knew she was gonna be the type of antagonistic sister and I was so ready for it. What I didn't expect was a heartfelt character arc about how she had to pretend to be perfect all the time and basically live the life that someone else wanted for her, to the point that she was almost marrying a guy that she wasn't even into for the sake of her family, and how her perfectionism and expectations of her family kept her from discovering her true potential and discovering her own identity. And oh my god, this movie really hit me. I mean, I knew this movie wasn't about generational trauma, but I didn't expect to relate this much to a character. But anyways, by the end of her journey, Isabela is discovering herself and exploring new possibilities in her life. So I wanted to create a dress that would make her at a point of her journey where she was close to figuring out who she was, but, she could still change. The first thing that I want to explain to you guys is why I went with a shorter and more puffier skirt per se. And in order to do that, I had to talk about her first dress. And look, I love this dress. It's gorgeous, it's so pretty, but it looks so uncomfortable. It looks restraining and itchy, and it looks like something your mom or your grandma will make you wear for a party when you're little and you're complaining all the time about it. Which, makes sense for the character. She's holding her true self and limiting her true potential of her gift in order to please Abuela and make her family proud. So this time I wanted to give her something shorter and more comfortable, and even though she's wearing a puffy skirt, I tried not to exaggerate it as much in order for her to still have a good range of motion. And to be fair, after what else can I do, I can picture her dancing around with Mirabel, and I just wanted her to have a cute dress that she will twirl, and there's flowers and colors everywhere. When asking my Colombian friends what they thought about her design, the one thing everyone mentioned was how uncomfortable those types of sleeves were. And you know what? They are right! I have also worn clothes with that type of sleeves, and yeah, they suck! So I decided to give her some loose sleeves for that. And I know it looks similar to Belle's dress from Beauty and the Beast, but I consider that a good thing. Just a little callback on how she's meant to look like a Disney princess and stuff. Originally, I wanted to go a little bit edgier with my design, but then I chose not to because, well, okay. I hate the idea media tends to convey that in order to be a full, empowered, strong woman who needs no man, you need to reject all aspects of your femininity. And I don't like that. That's misogynistic in my opinion. So, I wanted to keep Isabela feminine, but in her own way. I didn't want her to feel like a tomboy, but I also didn't want her to convey traditional beauty standards, which, let's face it, the character already breaks them herself. I just wanted her to look like her own version of beautiful. Now, regarding colors, in her first design, she's wearing a lavender dress with purple and pink accents. She clearly looks like a traditional Disney princess, as I said before. And okay, something I love about Encanto is how each side of the Madrigal family is color-coded. Pepe's family is wearing all warm colors, while Julieta's side of the family is wearing cool tones. But if you look closely, everyone has blue as their predominant shade. Only Isabela is wearing a shade of purple. Which not only makes her stand out more, but also makes her fit in with Abuela, because Abuela herself is wearing a wine shade of red, making her fit in with her family, but look closer to Abuela Alma. I love that! The character design of this movie is amazing. But okay, the reason why I bring this up is because I wanted her new dress to make her look closer to her family. And I tried to achieve this in a few different ways. The first obvious choice was keep her dress blue. She has to match her family and look closer to Mirabel and Luisa. But also, the reason why the shapes of her top and skirt are different is because if you notice, everyone in her immediate family seems to clearly be wearing a two-piece outfit, except for her. So, while having the same base color for both parts of her outfit to make her look close to her original self, she now matches the shape language of her family, more specifically her sisters, more, implying that she's closer to them now, just like we saw at the end of the movie. I also really like that the top layer of her skirt with all the flowers makes her look like she's wearing a sort of apron, kinda like her mom. Also, one of the extra reasons on how I justified the skirt to myself was that she keeps all of these flowers on her to maintain the paint splatters on her dress colorful and fresh. Also, I like to think that she can change the flowers of the dress depending on what she wants to wear that day. And okay, let's talk about the boots. I figure this Isabela, while still having her gift, she still wants to plan and take care of her own plants by herself. I can also picture her now getting involved more with the agriculture of the Encanto and help the vegetation inside of it grow. And I know the alpargatas are iconic, but has any of you guys ever worn them and step on mud? I have, and let me tell you, it is not a pleasant feeling. Regarding her hair, the only thing that I mainly changed is that she now has small flower buds on it. I really like that scene when she freaks out about Mariano wanting 5 babies and you know how the flower buds come out of her head. I figure this version of Isabela is more in touch with her emotions and sometimes she just lets them be, you know? I picture this Isabela similar to the one we see in the epilogue of the movie. She's more outgoing and not afraid to be herself anymore. She's still close to Abuela, but she's closer to her sisters now. And well, this is how her design turned out. It is not the most dynamic pose in the world, but I just wanted this redesign to be focused on her clothes. And yeah, I think I succeeded at that. But let me know what you guys think. Do you guys like it? Let me know in the comments. Also, if there's any other character that you would like me to redesign, please also let me know. Doing a redesign was surprisingly fun and I want to make more content like this. So, if you like this video, consider liking and subscribing it, you know, just so I know that you also like this. And if you want to see more of my art, all of my social media is in the description. I hope you guys have a lovely day. I am Princess Rosa and I'll see you next time.